Am I the jerk? I am engaged to Tiffany, and I love her with all of my heart. Unfortunately, my mom has never seemed supportive of our relationship, and it's pretty clear to me she doesn't enjoy Tiffany. This has been a huge point of contention between my mother and I, and I've made it clear that she needs to begin making an effort if she wants to be in our lives. She continues to try to get away with excluding her, so I've had to come down hard with boundaries. Recently, my mom was going to a touring production of a Broadway show that Tiffany has been dying to see, but was unable to get tickets to. My mom was going with her sister, who woke up with a fever and chills, so she was going to invite her secretary as her friends happened to be out of town. I told my mom that it was ridiculous that Tiffany wasn't even her fourth choice. I explained this was deeply hurtful and asked her to consider her future DIL over her assistant. She ended up letting Tiffany go, but when it was time to go, I saw my mom's face change. Tiffany is a huge girly girl and just loves to dress up, which unfortunately she doesn't get many chances to do at the moment. She went all out for the show in a floor-length, sparkly number with her hair done up and beautiful makeup. My mom was wearing flare leggings, a sweater, and Converse, and didn't even try to hide her disgust. She asked if Tiffany was aware that no one dressed up for the Performing Arts Center. Tiffany admitted she might have gone a little overboard, but explained she just loves to dress up. My mom complained that she was going to feel embarrassed. I told her to stop, and they went on their way. Well, it has recently come to my attention that my mom texted my aunt including pictures of Tiffany taken without her knowledge, and complained about how embarrassed she was. She said everyone was looking at them, and some people were snickering. My aunt was making jokes back, and I became furious. I demanded my mom explain to me, and she said I was being ridiculous. She said she could talk to her sister about whatever she wanted and we needed to grow up. She blamed me for pushing Tiffany on her in the first place, and claimed it was super embarrassing, and everyone was giving Tiffany weird looks. I lost it and told her she was uninvited from the wedding if that is what she really thinks. She got really quiet and said okay if that was what I really wanted, and said I was unwilling to compromise or make things work. Now the rest of the family is calling me an asshole and saying I will regret not having my mom at my wedding, but Tiffany feels very happy and supported. My girlfriend, 3-year relationship, we're in our late 20s, don't live together, went to a concert with 3 of her best friends. Girl activity type thing. No boyfriends went. I've been working all day. It's 12:50 a.m. I'm in bed. The AC is on. Lights are off. She calls me to tell me the concert is over, that she has low battery and that she's figuring out how she's going to get home. I sense she's maybe fishing for me to offer to pick her up. I figure she's with 4 other very close, trustworthy people. With cars, there's Uber. That concert area gets heavy traffic jams. Whenever there's a concert, I'm far away. There's plenty of ways for her to get home. I don't offer to pick her up, just tell her to get home safe and to keep me posted. A couple minutes later, I get a text from her asking me to please pick her up. I tell her how I don't understand how none of her friends can give her a ride, and ask how me getting up and picking her up is what's making the most sense right now. She tells me her friends live close to the concert area. They'd have to get out of their way to give her a ride. I'm farther than all of them. I also ask why didn't she tell me earlier so I could be prepared to do this. At this point, she started just telling me to never mind, and not responding. She got mad. I was actually willing to pick her up, but I needed her to know that I didn't like the way it was happening, so she didn't get accustomed to me being at her beck and call. So that's why my first responses were me complaining to her. I later offered, as I intended to after I got her first text, but she said she had found a ride. She ended up getting a ride with her friend's boyfriend, who was picking her friend up, obviously making me look bad. I'm willing to bet a lot of money the other guy was asked earlier in the day to pick his girl up. Anyway, AITA, eat it. She called me while still with her girlfriends. They were going to the home of one who lives next to the concert place. Her phone wasn't dead, and it actually didn't end up dying until she later reached home. She refuses to take Ubers because she doesn't trust them, so I guess it was never an option for her. My sister Anna just started a new job and needs someone to watch her 4-year-old daughter Katie on Wednesdays and Fridays. She asked me to do it. But here's the thing. I work from home as a freelance graphic designer. Sometimes my schedule is flexible enough to handle babysitting, but other weeks I'm swamped and can't be distracted. I offered to help out when I could as long as she gives me notice, but Anna got really upset. She said stuff about how family is supposed to be there for each other. I tried explaining my side, but she wouldn't budge. Now she's ignoring me and complaining about the situation to the rest of our family. I feel terrible that I can't help her out more, but I also have to make a living, you know. AITA for not dropping everything to babysit? I called my brother dumb and told him not to come to me when he ends up alone, so am I the jerk here? My brother, 40 years old male, and I, 30 years old male, are not on best terms right now. I feel like he expects me to be a silent shoulder to cry on and to not have any opinion or advice for him. But he also asks questions then, and I'm apparently supposed to agree with him or I'm a jerk. Maybe I am. My brother has been married twice. His has a 15-year-old son with his ex-wife and with his current wife. He has an 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. My older nephew has been through a lot because of his mom. Constant moves, new guys in and out of his life all the time, putting guys before him, leaving him behind when she goes off with others. But he is fiercely loyal to his mom, and always was. She didn't like when my brother had more kids, and so my older nephew was always very distant with his half-siblings, and he calls himself an only child. He also had a distant relationship with his stepmom. She accepted this because he was distant but not rude or cruel. She did try to improve their relationship, though. But for about a year and a half, my older nephew has been an outright asshole to his half-siblings and stepmom. He goes out of his way to upset them and to say awful things. He has repeated things his mom has called the kids, to the kids' faces, and he even showed them texts he and his mom send each other about them and their mom. My brother went to court for full custody due to the alienation and was denied, and the courts decided 50-50 should remain, but did order therapy for my older nephew. Therapy didn't help, and his behavior is worse than ever. He does not care who is around either. He has behaved like this in front of my family, in front of mine and my brother's parents, and in front of neighbors and family friends. He also involved a friend of my niece's and turned that into a bullying situation. He knows the girl through his best friend. They're siblings, I believe. Sael is no longer willing to tolerate it, and she and my brother fought a lot. She told him either my older nephew goes to live with his mom or they live in separate homes to protect the kids. My brother refused. He wanted to keep things as they are. She said no way and took the kids and left when my brother refused to figure something out. This is where my fight with my brother comes in. He was venting to me and complaining about his ex and his wife and the situation with the kids. He asked me what he was supposed to do and whether I thought he was unreasonable or not. He asked me 3 different times before I told him I did think he was wrong and that he should have worked with his wife because now he is likely to lose them all. His son will choose to live with his mom once he's 16, and his marriage will be gone and the younger kids will feel like he didn't care about protecting them. He told me to shut up, called me a child, and then told me I had no idea what I was talking about. He defended his stance. This is when I called him dumb and told him not to come crying to me when he ends up alone. I married my husband 6 years ago. Together 8. He has 2 children, male 20 and female 19, Emma. I have a daughter 9-year-old. I was a widow when I met my husband. Emma had severe issues with her father getting married again, while her brother got along very well with me and my daughter. He is the best older brother out there. Emma did not like me, and she treated my daughter very badly too, to the degree that she almost never left my arms when her sister was home. When Emma was 15, she permanently moved to live with her mother. My diseased husband left me a small fortune when he passed that I never touched since I had a good job and never wanted anything more. So last year I helped paying my stepson's tuition. I am planning to do that with my daughter too, and the rest I will add to my daughter. My stepdaughter is very angry now, calling me the Am I? I never had a good relationship with her. She always hated me, and I don't think she's becoming a good person. And honestly, I would rather leave more to my daughter than pay for her ungrateful ass. My husband is sad because he thinks I am being unjust. I am very sad about it, but I still don't feel I am the AH. My ex-husband and I divorced when my son was 10. My ex had found someone new. We went for 50-50 custody, but he still had to pay some child support. I went back to school at that time. On the weeks his dad had him, I buckled down and did nothing but schoolwork. When he was with me, I made sure I had time for him before and after school. I did expect him to help around the house, but nothing excessive. Mostly just cleaning up after himself and helping with cooking and laundry. His dad's house was more fun. I tried to make my home welcoming. I bought a used PS4 and I got fiber optic internet. It wasn't enough for him. When he was 14, he and his father got the court to award my ex primary custody. I did fight it, but my son made it clear he would run away if I didn't give in. Counseling didn't help. I tried everything. It was devastating having my son decide I wasn't someone he wanted to spend time with. He started skipping visitation. When he did come, he would leave the house and not come home until it was time to sleep. During this time, I started a relationship with my current husband. He helped me through this. He wasn't on my radar romantically, nobody was, so he got close by being an amazing friend. I asked him out and we got married 6 months later. We had known each other since I went back to university. 6 months after we got married, I got pregnant. By strange coincidence, so did the woman my ex was cheating with, not the woman he left me for. A newer model. I had sold my house and my husband, and I bought a condo together. Just a 2-bedroom apartment with a tiny den. We made the den into a nursery and consolidated our offices into the 2nd bedroom. My ex moved in with his new girlfriend and she isn't a fan of my son. His stepmother doesn't want him there if his father isn't there, so my son is also in the new house with his dad's pregnant girlfriend, and her mom. My son is 16 now, and he called me to see if he could stay with me. I said I didn't really have any room. He asked me what I did with his room. He didn't even know I sold the house. He is very upset. He called me a bitch for not having a place for him to stay. I said he could stay in our living room on the couch. Not acceptable. I talked to my husband, and we have enough money from the sale of my house and his old bachelor pad, as well as our condo to buy back into the market. We were waiting for interest rates to fall, and we were going to move to a more reasonably priced city. I told my son if he could take the living room for now, we could have a room for him in 6 months. He moved in with his grandparents. He isn't happy there. At least his dad got him a car so he can drive to his same school. My son is pissed that I prioritize my new baby and my work over him. I had no expectation to ever need to house him again. My ex called me and told me to make our office into a room for our son. I told him that our son's circumstances were his fault, not mine.